Hi, I'm Jen, and I'm on a mission to live my absolute best life. In the past year, I've given up alcohol, I've completely changed my relationship with food and exercise, I've lost over 50 pounds, I've become a reader, I've grown my social media platforms, and I have pretty much done everything else you can think of that could improve your life. It's something I'm obsessed with, and I absolutely love working towards goals and just seeing the improvement. I mean, how could you not love that? Something I really swear by is doing these monthly reflections and audits where I look back at the month, see what I did well, see where I went wrong, and make a plan to do even better for the next month. So in today's video, I'm gonna be sharing everything I did in April, where I did well, where I fell short, and what my plan is to have an even better May. So let's get into the video. So starting off with weight, I started the month of April at 168.4 and I ended the month at 166.4. 166.4 seems to be a number I keep hitting again and again. So I'm excited to kind of be able to push past that. But even knowing I've been kind of stuck around these numbers, it's crazy to think that I was 217 July of last summer. I did make a workout goal in the month of April to close my exercise ring on my Apple Watch, which means doing 30 minutes of exercise at least 25 times. I did it 24 times. So unfortunately, I cannot check out that goal, but I did do pretty well overall. I did end up deciding to start a 30-day challenge that I created on my own. Basically, I'm doing a little mini challenge between the end of April and Memorial Day where I'm gonna be doing some more exercise goals. I have some more like nutrition goals, and one of those things includes doing an hour of daily exercise. So I do expect over the next month to lose a little bit more weight as I'm kind of increasing that exercise goal. For my nutrition, I did pretty good. I did start focusing more on protein. It's something I know a lot of people have told me to focus more on. I don't naturally go towards a lot of like high protein foods. I don't eat a ton of meat, I wouldn't say. So it's definitely something I'm having to be really intentional about, looking at how many grams of protein are in different things. I'm trying to get in more like protein powder and protein alternatives. And that is something I'm really focusing on and excited to see kind of what the result ends up being. As far as my beverages go, I love like a LaCroix, a Canada Dry, a Poppy, and I did this past month try to focus just more on plain water, upping my water intake. I do think that's been a difference as well. I notice I'm not as hungry when I'm getting more water in throughout the day, so it's definitely something I need to continue being intentional with, and I do think it's so worth it and definitely helps when it comes to some of my other weight loss goals. For reading, I finished book number 4 of the year, which was Anti-Time Management. I thought it was such a good book. It was really timely as well. It was just talking all about how the projects and things you're working on can either create time or take time, and it was really a book that helped me do a lot of reflection just on my own personal life. And as far as the year goes, I set a goal to finish 12 books this year, so I'm right on track there. I did start book number 5, which is The Psychology of Money. It was a recommendation from someone on one of my videos, and I'm already loving it. I love reading about money. I love all things money, so it's really educational, and it's been a pretty quick read so far. For family and my social life, it was an amazing month for social interaction. That stuff is so important, and it's something at the beginning of my weight loss journey I do feel I let kind of slip a little bit as I was focusing just on all of these personal goals. This month was great. I got to spend a lot of time with friends. I did a FaceTime catch up with one of my girlfriends I hadn't spoken to in months. And then on the family front as well, we saw my family, we saw my husband's family, and I just love that. Family's so important, friends are so important, and it's something I want to continue kind of reflecting on and being intentional on, because it's important not to take advantage of those relationships. As a sobriety update, I have been sober since July 21st of 2024. So I am actually coming up on 10 months here in May. And in April, I had what I would consider my first real desire to drink. It was April 16th. It was the day that my company announced that we're doing a full return to office later this year. That really impacts me personally. I felt kind of like I was spiraling, just trying to think of like, what am I gonna do? What's next? What does this mean for me? And I really, really wanted to get wine and just decompress with that. I'm so glad I didn't. I instead met up with a girlfriend and we had dinner. I stayed in a hotel that night, which I had been planning ahead of time because of some other work stuff. So she hung out with me. We swam in the hotel pool. We had a nice dinner. We drank Canada Dry, and I did not end up drinking, which I'm so, so grateful that I did not. It wouldn't have fixed anything. It wouldn't have helped anything. In fact, I know it would have made things worse. And I'm just very, very happy that I didn't do that. I feel like I've seen such amazing progress and such amazing change in my life over the past year. And I really credit getting sober with a lot of that. I mean, I've had all of these goals that I've never been able to reach because I feel like I just couldn't. And now that I stopped drinking, it feels more real. I'm capable of doing all these things. For social media, I saw a ton of growth this month and I'm so excited about it. I cannot believe the growth I've been seeing on social media, and I'm so incredibly grateful for everyone that watches my videos and everyone that's subscribed. Truly, it means the world to me. I grew about 4,000 subscribers on YouTube in the month of April and about 900 followers on TikTok. If you're not subscribed to me on YouTube, or if you wanna follow me on TikTok, please do. It means the world to me and I really appreciate it. I did have some social media related goals I set for April. One was to post 8 YouTube videos. Posted exactly 8 and it was quite literally in the nick of time. The 8th video was the last day of April. I knew I had to get it up so I could check that goal off. Another goal I set related to social media was to watch 4 kind of like educational videos or courses around social media. I did 0, but I did do some other like social media learning. I learned some new things on CapCut. I learned some new things on iMovie, and also I found Busy Blooming. I've just been listening to her podcast episodes over and over and over. Like, she has so many, and I've learned a lot about social media and it's given me a lot to think about as well. All that to say is, while I didn't do the 4 courses that I had originally set out to do, I did still spend time investing in trying to learn new skills and make things even better. I want you guys to have really high quality videos, so it is something I'm actively working on. For work, as I mentioned, we announced at my work that we're doing a full return to office starting October 1st. I commute 3 hours, 3 times a week. There's been a lot of traffic and there's been a lot of construction happening lately, so I've actually been averaging 3.5 hours round trip and over the past 2 weeks. My plan right now is to make it work as long as I possibly can, but of course that could change and we will see where the future takes us. For decluttering, I've been on a goal to declutter my house to kind of minimize my belongings, and I would say I didn't do great on this month. I didn't put a ton of like intentional time and focus on cleaning things out and getting rid of things like I had over the past few months. I do think it gets harder as you've gotten rid of most of the stuff. Now I need to kind of be a little bit more thoughtful about what I'm getting rid of and what things I actually need versus I don't need. I did set a monthly goal of making $250 selling clothes. I do sell clothes on Poshmark specifically, and then I've been to like reseller stores and stuff. I made $183. So I definitely fell a little short, but I'm still happy that I got some good stuff sold. The other 2 goals I had set for myself for April were to pay off my car, which I did. I'm so excited to have that paid off, and it just was kind of like a burden I felt. So I'm really happy to just be done with that. And then the other monthly goal I set was to change my last name. I got my first government official identification that has my new last name on it. So I'm counting it as a yes because I'm now in the process. But a lot of it's like you wait for this to then do this to then do this. And it's also a lot of waiting for you to get your stuff in. So checking that off since I officially am, at least on one document, my new last name. Next is the part I'm actually dreading because it is terrible and horrifying. It's my monthly expenses. I'm gonna go through all of the things I was spending money on that are kind of the extra stuff, these are not monthly fixed bills. So it didn't include my mortgage, I didn't include my car payment, which I just got paid off, but just like the extra stuff that I'm paying off and that's variable month to month. Starting with the most expensive category, I have clothes. I spent $909 on clothes this month. To be fair, I am gonna give myself a little bit of an excuse, which is I have lost a pretty substantial amount of weight. Things don't fit me super well, and specifically when it comes to like work clothing, most of this $909 was on work clothes. I discovered Aritzia. I literally had never been in Aritzia before last month, and I wish I had never gone in there because I love the stuff. But I really desperately needed new work stuff. I felt like really self-conscious about the stuff I was trying to wear to work because of how it fit, and it just didn't look right. So that was a big portion of it. And then I did do a smaller Anthropologie order. It includes this top. I got some other stuff as well that I will be returning. So once I return those other items, I bet I'll be close to like $650, which is still terrible, but that's my justification. My next highest category is groceries. I spent $311.87 on groceries this month. Me and my husband both spend money on groceries. Whoever is there picks it up. My next highest category is a hotel stay, so $176.12. As my category number 4, spent $135.87 on gas. Spend a lot on gas every month. My next highest was a donation. I donated $100. I have miscellaneous as my next category at $51.61. This was for an app, parking, and diapers. I bought diapers for my new niece, which diapers are expensive. I'm like, guys, it's kind of crazy. After that, I have restaurants and snacks. That's like gas station snacks if I stop on my commute and want like a little something. I spent $46.46. Coffee, I spent $40.75 buying coffee out this past month. That's terrible. And the number one culprit is a brand new Dunkin' opened not that far away from my work. I love Dunkin'. Like Dunkin' is my favorite coffee spot. I just kept going and going. And now that I'm even talking about it, I'm like, I should go again. I just love it. So that's high, that's not great. And then my final expense category was subscriptions at $28.68 for 3 subscriptions, Adobe, YouTube Premium, and Apple Storage. So all of these 3 things are related to kind of my social media content creation stuff. My grand total for the month of April was $1,800.36. That's terrible. That's so bad. I don't even know what to say. So obviously next month, that's something I need to get lower. So now that we're done reflecting on April, let's go through the 6 main goals I've set for the month of May. These are my top priorities that are gonna help me be truly the best version of myself. As I mentioned, I am currently doing a 30-day challenge. Those goals all still stand. There's 7 different things I'm doing every single day for 30 days. I can pop them up on the screen. But overall for the month, these are my 6 main goals I wanna hit. Number 1 is to post 8 YouTube videos. I wanna be more consistent with content creation, and 8 feels like the perfect number. Like it's definitely a little tough to get to, but I know I can push myself and get there. I also have a goal of posting 40 TikToks. Again, I know I can do this, but it's a little bit of a stretch. And I know for my 30-day challenge, I will be posting a TikTok every single day. So if I do that and then do 2 here and there, I can get to 40. My third goal is to get 30 hours of activity in for the month. I, as part of my 30-day challenge, have a daily hour activity goal. If I do that every day and then a few additional days and get a little bit extra in, I can hit 30. So again, it's just building on some of the other goals I already have, but just pushing a little bit further. My next goal is to list 20 more items on Poshmark. This just is a time-consuming thing. I know I can't necessarily control who's buying what and what offers are accepted, but just taking the time to list the items I no longer want and no longer bring me joy is just something I need to take take the time to do in order to continue the overall process of decluttering my house. My fifth goal is a work-related goal, and it is to make 450 cold calls this month. I do a lot of cold calls, I do a lot of emailing, and 450 definitely is a little bit of a stretch for me to get, but I know if I focus and really am just making a few extra dials every day when I want to stop, just pushing myself a little further, that I can hit 450. This is gonna help me stay consistent. This is gonna help me just be a great employee and hopefully lead to some more deals. And then my final goal, which I think might be the hardest for me, is to spend less than $600 on my credit cards. I have been getting a little out of control with my spending. So $600, a lot of that's probably gonna go to groceries, a big portion of that's gonna go to gas, and then I can have the occasional coffee, but clothes are gonna have to be cut, like other things are gonna have to be cut, the miscellaneous spending, it is definitely gonna be something I'll have to be tracking to make sure I'm staying under 600. Thanks so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you have other categories you want me to cover in these, leave a comment below and I will be sure to include it in the next video. By the way, if you have goals you're working on, feel free to share so that you can also be held accountable and so that I could cheer you on as well. Thanks again, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.